Hello and welcome to the NFDI talk. My name is Kurt Wilges and I work in the NFDI Association's office. In our NFDI talk, scientists from different disciplines present exciting topics about research data infrastructure and research data management. All talks are live streamed and saved on our YouTube channel. Sorry, I have to stop something here. Just a second. Yeah, I heard an echo of the YouTube stream. That was just a second. Okay, modern technologies. It's always a wonder. After the talk, we invite you to ask questions and discuss the topics. This interactive part will not be recorded. So in today's talk, Katharina Bergmann, Jonathan Geiger, Marina Lemaire, Andrea Polywka, and Petra Steiner will present OERnet, a hub for RDM, Research Data Management, Open Educational Resources for the Humanities and Social Sciences, perspectives on metadata. So I think it's a record here now today with 5 presenters. And we have, accordingly, we have a very interesting assortment of biographies. So Katharina Bergmann is an art historian specialized in German Renaissance and iconography. After working in the collection management at the Museum of Modern and Contemporary Art, she started working at NFDI for Culture. There she is part of the task area Cultural Research Data Academy, which focuses on teaching and training of research data management, code and data literacy. Jonathan Geiger holds degrees in information science, engineering and philosophy. He is a PhD candidate in epistemology and the philosophy of digitality. He is working at the Academy of Sciences and Literature in Mainz in the context of the National Research Data Infrastructure, contributing to the consortium NFDI for Culture as Culture Kickstarter. Oh, what's that? And the OER project DALIA. Marina Lemaire is a historian, manager of the Service Center eSciences at Trier University. She has been active in the field of RDM since 2007. Manages infrastructure development and its operation, provides training and consulting, develops strategic concepts for sustainable RDM implementation, coordinates the data literacy task area in NFDI for memory, is spokesperson for the RDM State Initiative Rhineland-Pfalz. Andrea Polywka is film scholar, PhD candidate and research assistant at Philipps University Marburg. She currently works for NFDI for Culture as a member of the Cultural Research Data Academy. The task area focuses on teaching and training materials in the field of research data management, as well as data and code literacy. And Petra Steiner is a qualitative linguist with expertise in lexical and frame semantics, working at the Technical University of Darmstadt on the DALIA project on metadata of all kinds. The DALIA interchange format diff controlled vocabularies, glossaries, and other knowledge organization systems. Welcome, Katharina, Jonathan, Marina, Andrea, and Petra. We look forward to your presentation. Jonathan, the stage is yours.
Yes, thank you very much for the introduction, Cord, and also for having us here and giving us the opportunity to tell everyone some things about our small network and initiative. I hope that you can see the slides now. Does it work?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Then I will start with some introductory words. What is the OER.NET group anyway, and what are they doing? And what are their roots, so to speak? So when we from the DALIA project started to work on the platform and on the project in 2023, we had basically 2 formats to get in contact with the community. And the first one was big open online workshops for each and every one to gather people and to talk about their needs and their repositories and so on. That was good to give to get an overview. The second format was to get in direct contact with the projects, especially the consortia of the NFDI, but also the data competency centers and the county initiatives. And during these talks and format, we realized, okay, there is something in between missing. We need some direct contact and communication between projects, but not these very big formats. And then we said, okay, let's start at one point. We work in concentric circles, and we start in a small group of projects, starting in the humanities, and doing several rounds and open up the circle of participating projects. And the first outcome of this thoughts was a workshop at the Academy of Science and Literature roughly 1 year ago in April 2024 with DALIA, NFDI for Culture, NFDI for Memory, HERMES and Quadriga. And we got very much into detail in the discussions there. So it was a very fruitful exchange of ideas and discussions. We had the opportunity to get to know each other much better, and we had some very on the projects. And this was very good. So at the end of this workshop, we decided, okay, this was so fruitful, let's continue this in some, in fame OER.net, we had a channel in the Rocket chat and a small mailing list to get in contact and a meeting on a regular basis. Very low tech at that point. And we said, okay, in a second round in 2025, in February, we had another workshop. You can see the list of projects here with the projects from the first round, but also with NFDI, with Text Plus, Consort SVD, with Vinoda, Soda, and Codax, and we met up in Darmstadt, and we continued the discussions there. So the circle was bigger, and we talked about some topics which were already in the discussion in the first workshop and during the course of the year, but also new topics, and we could see that the discourse is evolving, the problems are changing, the projects are evolving, and we said, okay, that's a good basis. Especially when we can say, okay, let's let this architecture of networks, let it grow, and keep a direct contact to the different consortia and projects, like I said, and have a basis on which we can exchange information, coordinate activities, and learn from each other. So much from the background and the roots, and at that point, I'm happy to hand over to Petra.
Yes, so as we said, DALIA means Data Literacy Alliance, and this project curates the supply of open teaching and learning content of data literacy. We have built a platform, but this is actually not the focus here. Today we are talking about metadata. Please switch to the next slide. Next slide, please. Thank you. So first, I would like to give a short summary of our motivation. So why do we develop a metadata schema for OER? So each platform, of course, including our own, requires consistency in metadata formats. And on the other hand, open educational resources have different formats and forms, and they belong to different fields, so very huge diversity here. Then projects compile their own metadata schemas, and there are different data standards and authority files. So in addition to that, we have sometimes a kind of mix up of meaning and use. For example, we have some notions such as description, Beschreibung. Well, that's relatively consistent. But for example, if you have talked with your colleague about format, then after a while you might notice that one person means file format, the other data format, and the third the format of the lecture, something like that. So we have to be very precise. All in all, we said our metadata standard should be comprehensible, so easy to understand for everybody. It should be concise to be used as a minimal standard. I know that some colleagues are doing that. It's not really intended to be that, but it's a kind of minimal thing to do, but not we did not really intend it that people would put it on the table like, yeah, let's use that as minimal standard. Anyway, then we should we have defined everything in English to be international, and we have to be compatible with formal requirements and with the project's ontology, which is a basis of our knowledge graph. So this is very important. The schema should be mappable to other standards. It should be extensible, but also backwards compatible. So you could use former versions. And we have two intended side effects. One is the means of communication, the other means of inspiration. That means people could use that as a kind of start of discussion on metadata schemas, or they could get some ideas from it. Okay, next slide, please. Here is everything in a nutshell. I cannot go into details in the few minutes I have. You can check out the DALIA interchange format from Zenodo. There it is neat and concise. It comprises 18 attributes, and only 4 of them are mandatory. 11 strictly recommended, 3 optional. Why did we do that? Why did we say, well, you need only author, license, title, and link, and not all the others? Well, we want to be, let's say, no inhabitant, no hindrance for anybody who wants to submit their metadata. So if something is missing, let's say we don't know so well about the proficiency level, then okay, let's skip it for the moment and you can still provide your data. There's a link to the platform, which is not part of our topic today. And I should say that we had several feedback cycles within the community to create diff version 1.3. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yeah. Okay. What is extremely important also in regard of being formal and mappable is that diff is a tabular application profile. This means it's mappable to other application profiles. For example, the Dublin Core tabular application profile by Coil. It's consistent with Shackle. And it's also very similar to the schema by Hobel-Heinrich, which inspired us a lot. So what is relevant here is not the list of attributes. It's relevant what is in the columns here. So the description elements are essential for the metadata specification. And we have here the attribute name. We have the choice of, is that mandatory, optional, or recommended? We have a short description. We have examples. We have the cardinality. Do we have just one link? It's just one link and not two. It can be only one link, exactly one link. Here, then we have data type, important for the technicians. And even more important is the property ID, which leads us to other schemas and which really provides a standard and is a link to other, let's say, ontologies or other knowledge, knowledge systems. Okay, and that was it. And I hand over to my colleague from the NFDI for Culture.
Yes, thank you very much, Petra. Yes, I will offer you some insights from our consortium NFDI for Culture, where we are focused on research data on material and immaterial cultural heritage. Next slide, please. Amongst one of our services, our team of the Cultural Research Data Academy has created the Educational Resource Finder, or as we call it, the EARF, a curated list of external training offers and open educational resources based on topics like research data management and code and data literacy. In the past, we have identified the needs of our for culture communities as part of annual forum events, on training courses, meetings with representatives or partner institutions, and RDM state initiatives. In the development stage, we were in close exchange with DALIA, our colleagues here from the project. And you can see on the right side an example of mapping the DALIA interchange format to our for cultures OER metadata for the export. Some mappings could be matched, like authors, license, link, the title, community description or subject area, as well as keywords, language and date. Others are still up to negotiation, like learning resource and media type, but this is one of the aim of our networking group, that we can discuss such topics together. The metadata have been chosen according to existing structures of our culture information portal, like the Tadira ontology, and are based on close exchanges with other consortia and projects. And on the next slide, you will see an example. Because our focus is on subject or media specific, as well as generic training offers. And one of those generic training offers is a self-study course with an introduction to Jupyter Notebooks by the programming historian. And the metadata record for this page can be accessed directly on each page of the portal. And you can see it there with Flash and the export formats. You can see them more in detail on the next slide, please. Yes, no, first, this is an example for our training offer, because we have mapped some metadata, but we have also free text fields, and our team of the Cultural Research Academy, we gather information and during our curation process on the target group, which we write ourselves, also on the costs, the accessibility for each open educational resource, as well as specific technical requirements, and also how much time one participant would need for accomplishing the training offer itself. Next slide, please. Yes. Oh, no. Yes, this is the right one. Perfect. Thank you. Yes, the metadata record for this page can be exported in the following formats: RDF XML, Turtle, N-triples, or JSON LD. And the information on the educational resources can also be accessed via the Hydra API, the RESTful API endpoint that makes all the portal data accessible, or the Sparkle endpoint with the possibility of a direct query of our culture knowledge graph. And the collection and the available keywords are coordinated with other for culture services in our development team. You can see here as well that the categories contained here are all based on standardized vocabulary, such as GND, Wikidata, Tadira, or Fabio. Fabio is also named here. And the enrichment with metadata works with us or as a selection list that we call a category tree, which is set in the back end of our type 3 tool, and which you can access without the free text fields. And what else can we export here? There's the link, the date, the name of the course, and also on which date it has been created. And on the next slide, you will see further information on the description that we write ourselves, as well as the subject area, the language, the educational level, the license, and the keywords. And for this specific offer, we chose the programming and the teaching part, and as well as the publisher. And on the last slide, for the insights of our consortium, we just summarized our aims and services, because we aim at conceptualizing and advertising generic and subject-specific training offers for researchers, employees from universities, culture, heritage, and GLAM institutions. We also do offer consultation on topics like data and code literacy in our communities. And we also offer some events, annual forum events, our own basic courses, and our own social media data lecture series. And we also plan, and we are still implement and evaluate our training offers in our ERF. And we have a help desk for questions concerning qualification and training. And on this last point, I will hand over to my colleague Marina Lemaire from NFD for Memory.
Thank you very much, Andrea. Now I'd like to introduce you to our adaptation of the DALIA interchange format from NFDI for Memory. Please, the next slide, Jonathan. In the last weeks, we publish our HistoCats, that's a historical insight and skills training online catalog. That's a curated collection of teaching and learning material for the historical sciences. And the database offers precise description and the tagging of the resources. It's a searching platform which offers easy access. So we add a lot of metadata of the materials. The material is recommended from experts from the historical academic community and also result of our own research or searching for teaching and learning material. All the material we reviewed and decided of relevance and currency if we take it or leave it. And now we are in the continuing process of regular updates of new content, which is tiled to us or which we find further. The next slide, please. What we are doing, we begin with our database when the diff 1.3 schema was there. And so we take the definition and looked up which attributes we need to get our needs, to come to our needs. And you see that some things are really easy mapped, but other things we do a little bit in another way. Perhaps we decide that we want to give the authors also a role because there are different roles of persons who added a material. Or developed something, or only editors or so. But we use the properties, the property IDs of the diff in our database too, so that we have an easy mapping to the DALIA format. And of course, we document our deviations to the diff. In some kinds, we define subforms to get more precisely, or we do definitions of lists or also of attributes. And on the next slide, I will give you some examples. One example is the refining of author metadata. We incorporate roles and use the vocabulary for credits and data side. So we are more precisely and give the authors, the programmers or so more credits. We also clarify definitions. So we refined the definition, for example, for the learning resources and also the items of the list of the learning resources. The same for the target groups and the skill levels. We added some categories like learning objectives and prior knowledges. And the keyword attribute we divided. We divided in RDM issues, tools, and methods, so that we can give the users more differentiated facet search in our search platform. You can have a look there. Yes, that's what a short introduction how we use the diff metadata scheme, and I like now to give over to Katharina. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Yeah, for our last part of this talk, we want to look at synergies and next steps within this group. So next slide directly. We have this wonderful image in our group of the electric toothbrush. For that, we know that one size doesn't and can't fit all, and each community has valid reasons to adapt metadata schemas to meet their specific needs. But as we all know, you can't do much with just the head, and you need a base. And so for us, a base in the scientific community is very crucial. And with standards like Metadatenschema für Schulungsmaterialien zum Thema Forschungsdatenmanagement, with the LRMI, the AMB, and others, we have a framework provided on which to build our domain-specific developments. So to stay in the metaphor, this is the base of the toothbrush, and we build our little toothbrush heads to stick upon that, and that we secure the functionality and that it all works. We need to map and reference those standards in the framework from our specific toothbrush heads. And with that, we can say collaboration really drives evolution, for that the exchange between communities leads to continuous improvement of shared data schemas. And it's not just that we improve our toothbrush heads alone, but each improvement of the head is also improving the base and vice versa. And that's a wonderful segue to the next slide, on which we want to talk about the learnings. So we really gained a lot from extensive communication in our group and regular exchange in the regular meetings that we hold, and in the working in group really brings us greater quality and acceptance of standards. And our joint work not only reduces project individual resources so that we can tackle a similar task together, but, and more importantly, it enhances the interoperability and compatibility of the developed open education resources, as well as the catalogs like the ERF and the Histocard that we've seen. And we are, like Jonathan said in the beginning, we are creating synergies in workshops that we hold yearly and in smaller working groups that we just established on, like Jonathan said already, I guess, on metadata, on a metadata schema, on quality criteria for open educational resources, and on developing a basic RDM training offer for the humanities. And yeah, the exchange via our Rocket Chat channel is very fruitful and very helpful, because it's a low stakes communication channel where we can update each other very quickly. And then we have a quite new established mailing list where we will share you the address later so you can get in touch with us. And now we have one last slide in which we asked ourselves the question, are we done yet? Are we done with the diff version? Do we have still outstanding tasks? And we can safely say we are not finished. At the moment, for example, we are discussing the fields and pick lists, some fields and pick lists in particular, like target group, learning resource type, media type, and proficiency level. It's quite a challenge, and we are discussing them for a long time now. But we have also some new optional attributes which came up in the development of the div 1.4 version, like contributors and teachers. So that are just a few of our open construction sites. And we would like to end with that, our talk today. And we thank you very much for attending this talk, for listening, or for all those who want to stream this later. Thank you. And here's our group's mailing address, so you can get in contact with us there. And one last information, we want to share these slides later on. We will publish them. So then we will share the link and you all can look through them later. Yeah, for that we have some reference and links attached.
Thank you very much. Oops, sorry. Thank you very much, Jonathan, Petra, Andrea, Marina, and Katharina for this great introduction to OER.net. Now, before we start the question and answering session, we say goodbye to our viewers on YouTube. In our next episode in 2 weeks, in the next NFDI talk on June the 2nd, we will get an introduction on cloud-based image data science. We hope to see there in 2 weeks. And now I will stop the screen. We'll all again take a second, and then you can ask your questions either in the chat or just raise your virtual hand here.